Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you all here. Hope you've had a wonderful day. How good is it to see so many people jumping on.
Welcome in, guys. We're going to get started in a second. We're just going to give you guys another couple of minutes. If you need to invite anybody else, just go ahead and do that now, or send out any last links that you need to, and then we'll look at kicking off. So tonight, guys, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We like breaking the rules. So we're going to break the rules tonight, and we're going to move in and out of the slides. Just because we're finding that there's a lot of stuff changing in the economy at the moment, and there's a lot of big things happening. So we feel that we need to showcase these events for you guys to really highlight them and to put them out in the open. We feel that a lot of people are missing this stuff. So it needs to be brought to the surface, needs to be brought to the forefront. So without further ado, I'll get you to let those last few people in while I do the intro, Ryan.
Yeah, go for it.
So first and foremost, we always start with an introduction, a little bit about myself. So I was a coach for 10 years. I've moved back to New Zealand after 10 years in Perth. It felt like such a long time. Being in Australia, and then I come back to New Zealand and I was like, oh my God, it's so cold and wet here. But being back home, that was all powered by what we was doing with 7K. I worked as a coach for 10 years. I've always worked with people. I love working with people. It's part of my passion. It's just now, back then I was stuck inside four walls. I could only help a finite amount of people. And now I have the ability to, help people all over the world. And that's what we're doing. We're doing it powered by gold and silver, powered by precious metals. And we're helping people, I guess, change the way they look at money, change the way they approach the monetary system, and just creating awareness, I think, is really important to understand. But we're going to go through a few things tonight. There might be a few things that you guys aren't aware of. But we just really want to bring some awareness to the space and help you guys, really grow and gain some confidence here. So I'm going to pass it over to Ryan. He's going to do a quick intro and then we'll get started.
Awesome. Thank you, Cole. And thank you guys for all jumping on. Pleasure to be here with you guys. Just a little bit about me. My name is Ryan. I'm a high school teacher by, I guess, trade, profession, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely love it. It's an incredible job. It's definitely, you have your good days and you have your bad days, but it's absolutely fulfilling. But unfortunately, being a teacher, you don't get paid the best. You're in control of, I guess, the government's in control of your future, what could happen, sort of thing. So I guess I started looking for other alternatives as well to allow me to, do the teaching that I love, but also, provide for my family and to not only, I guess, just survive, sort of thing. So when Cole, I guess, approached me with this incredible opportunity and with gold and silver, I didn't know a single thing whatsoever about gold or silver. I knew, being I guess, a teacher, that it was, I guess, the pharaohs were buried with it. It was what kings and queens used after watching like Game of Thrones and stuff like that. So I felt it was kind of like a relic of the past. But I trusted Cole, and I knew him pretty well. So I was like, let's do it. And I kind of, I guess, learned on the fly. And I'm forever grateful that he, came to me, talked to me, and that I did, say yes, even though I didn't know anything. And now I can comfortably say I know a fair bit about gold and silver, and I'm truly grateful that I do. Completely changed our lives as well. And I can honestly tell you, it's definitely not a relic of the past. If anything, it is still, I guess, what you could consider kings and queens money. But the only, I guess the good thing now is that, you don't have to be a king or a queen to have it. Anyone can have it. So I guess what I want to just show you straight off as well is, if you're like me and you're unsure, you don't know what gold or silver is, or you don't really understand, this is top assets by market cap. So if we look here, this is basically where, I guess, all the wealthy, or where the people are putting their money around the whole entire world. So Gold is number one on top of market cap by nearly $11.6 trillion. So gold's number one, Apple's number two at 2.4 trillion. So you can see the difference there is about $9 trillion, just over $9 trillion. So big, massive difference between first place and second place. So as you can see, gold is definitely not a relic of the past. It's the number one asset in the world. If we just go down to here in sixth place, we've got silver. So silver is the sixth asset in the world in terms of market cap at 1.2 trillion, catching up to Google. It was actually over Google the other week. Google's just jumped back over.
They're playing musical chairs.
Yeah, and we'll explain why they're playing musical chairs and how they play musical chairs, and a few of the other slides coming up. But you can see, silver's sixth place, gold is number one in terms of market cap. If we look at the price of silver, though, 21.64, which is why not only me, lots of highly, educated people, a lot more educated than me, say silver is the most undervalued asset in the world. And I guess in the coming slides, you'll understand why it is the most undervalued asset in the world, due to its price and what its industrial use. So I just wanted to show you this in case you were like me, you don't really quite understand gold, silver, just for, educational purposes, to let you know that, gold is still highly sought after, being the number one, and silver being number six.
I think there's a few other things to highlight here as well, is the importance of understanding that, the wealth is actually transferred. It doesn't just disappear. It doesn't just disappear into thin air. It moves around, it circulates. So why we're showing this to you guys is so that you can understand where the wealth is moving. This leaves, triggers and indicators for us to understand that gold is a good idea. Silver is a good idea. You can see number 3 there, that's oil. So you can see, you want to be putting your money where the wealth is moving to. Okay, not leaving your money in the bank, because we know what happens with the bank, and we're gonna highlight some of those things tonight. We're gonna really showcase and bring them to the forefront so that you can understand the importance of moving your money to secure places.
Yeah, definitely. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start off with, we started off with this last week as well, and I think it's very, important thing to highlight and to show, in case you're quite unsure, of the monetary system stuff. But this is the USA national debt clock.
Has anybody, just put in the comments, just put in the chat if you've, just put a 1 if you've ever seen this before, because a lot of people actually haven't seen this and they don't understand it. So if you've seen this before, just put a 1. Put a 1 in the comments below, and then we'll run over what we need to look at here. The important things.
All right. So USA debt clock at the moment is $31 trillion, 300,000. I'm not going to keep going, that number's too big, but you can see $31 trillion USA debt clock as of today. Another thing that I want to highlight out here is, the USA federal tax revenue, nearly $4.9 trillion. But the interesting thing that we brought up last week is this, category over here. So dollar to silver ratio, dollar to gold ratio, paper to silver ratio, paper to gold ratio. So as you can see here, paper to silver ratio, 428 to 1. So this is how, they keep the price down at $21 an ounce, is because of this paper to silver ratio. So this is basically saying that for every 420 ounces of silver on paper, there's 1 physical silver. All right. So this is what's highlighting here, gold 116 to 1. So this is basically telling you what the price of silver, physical silver, should be up here. So dollar to silver ratio, it should be around $627 per ounce. As if we go back to what we just had a look at, it's $21.64. So it's not even close. All right, so they're not even close to what it should be. All right, so this is a key indicator to have a look at and see how well the economy is doing. We've got dollar to silver ratio in 1913 when the Fed was created, it was $2.66. And if we look down at gold, dollar to gold ratio, it should be 4,970 per ounce. Again, if we go back, it's only 175. So it's heavily manipulated to keep it down, and it's used by
Well,
using.
I tell you, there's nothing going down on there.
Yeah.
It's hurting my eyes. You know, it's hurting my, like, I've never seen numbers move so quick, guys. Like when you look at, just go back up to the US
Yeah.
debt for me, Ryan, quickly.
There.
So you just watch that US debt, like, and the numbers even down here, the where it says US total debt, just watch how quickly that moves up. 1 million, 2 million. Okay, that's how quickly the country is accumulating more debt. Okay, in other words, printing more money. In other words, a quantitative easing. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk a bit more about this stuff in the future, guys. But as we move through, there might be some things you aren't familiar with, but just always keep an eye on the URL at the top, and you can go there and have a little bit of a look at it later, or maybe message me and Ryan will help you through it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think another key thing to point out is the money supply. So here we've got $21 trillion in money supply, currency and credit derivatives, $613 trillion. So these are some serious debt. And these, I guess, assets are going up in value. Whereas if we look at here, the median income in 2000 was $32,000. Fast forward 22 years, $36,000. So it's gone up a big, massive whooping $4,000. So I guess my point in highlighting this and showing you this is, why would you save your money in fiat dollars? Like, why would you do it? Because they just print it. All it is debt. And as you can see, you're not getting any value. We'll touch on that a bit later on.
That's right. And the other thing to add there is fiat currency has a life cycle, and the life cycle is 50 years. Now, can somebody tell me in the chat how long the life cycle of silver is? Somebody tell me how long the life cycle of silver is in the chat.
Yeah.
If somebody knows the answer to that, I'll be real interested.
Yeah. So I'm just going to quickly highlight, just so you can understand or grasp the concept of how much debt the USA has accumulated since 2008. So 2008, everyone knows, massive financial crisis. The GFC affected the whole world. Everyone, went through some tough times. A lot of people lost a lot of fortunes and lost their jobs, etc., etc. So this is the USA debt clock in 2008. Just so you know, so the US national debt clock at the top in 2008, this is towards the end of 2008, was nearly 11 trillion. In 2007, it was 9 trillion. So obviously with all the bailouts, that they had to do, they've printed a lot more money to, I guess, kick the can down the road, as what we would say. So you can see 14 years, they've managed to accumulate $20 trillion worth of debt. So the can's been kicked down and down the road. And I don't know about you, but you can only kick a can so far before, something happens. So I just wanted to highlight that. And US federal tax revenue, so it's 2.5. So that hasn't tripled, but the debt certainly has. So I just wanted to highlight that.
And just remember too, just like Ryan said just before about, there's a lot of like fortune lost. Where there's fortune lost, there's fortune made. Where there's fortune lost, is fortune made. So like I said earlier, wealth transfers, right? There's always people on the other end of the spectrum. So like one person's losing wealth, one person's making. So we just need to be on the right, the right side of the spectrum here. This is the important thing. In 2008, like Robert Kiyosaki talks about, there was a lot of wealth made through that financial crisis. You just got to know where to put your money at the right time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, on the next slide, you're probably thinking, oh, this is USA, it doesn't bother us. We're in Australia, we're in New Zealand. It's got nothing to do with us. And this is why I'm going to show this video now, because if you're unsure, how the fiat systems work, is that everyone in the world has tied their dollar to the American dollar. And the reason they've done that is because at one stage it was as good as gold. It was tied to gold. And in 1971, they took the dollar off the gold standard. and it became tied to nothing, backed by nothing, but everyone was still tied to the US dollar. So I'm just going to quickly show a short clip here that kind of explains that. So you can see why what happens in the USA affects the whole world, which is why that when the GFC happened in 2008, everyone was, I guess, affected by it.
In countries, as was the case under the old gold standard, the dollar was going to be used. The dollar was chosen because back then it was as good as gold.
Under this new system, countries agreed to fix their currencies to the US dollar, and the US dollar would be tied to gold at a price of $35 per ounce. This meant that countries around the world could trade their currencies for US dollars, which they could then exchange for gold. This created a system where all currencies were essentially backed by gold. To avoid the logistics of shipping physical gold across the world, when countries did exchange their currencies for gold, it was usually stored safely in the US.
Under the Bretton Woods system, you could exchange your currency or your dollars for gold. Now, it only applied to foreign countries and central banks. And we began to run budget deficits. We were running the Great Society program under Lyndon Johnson, and we were fighting a war in Vietnam. And all of a sudden, we were running these deficits, and countries were changing their dollars, and they said they wanted gold. And it began with the French, and then it started to spread.
With all the new spending programs in the United States, other countries became concerned that the US was spending more money than it had gold reserves. They started exchanging their dollars for gold and demanded physical delivery, as they felt that there were more dollars being printed than the gold that backed it. To prevent this outflow of gold from American vaults, President Nixon called for an emergency suspension of the gold convertibility system.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets.
All of the problems that we see today in the monetary system are a direct result of the decision made in August 15th, 1971, to abandon a fixed link back to gold. What gold did is it provided discipline on governments, provided discipline on government spending.
By removing the link between gold and the US dollar, President Nixon created a system where all currencies were backed by nothing.
All right. So I guess what's important there to, highlight is, okay, so what I was going to say, if we go back to this one, we were looking at, in 2008, the Americans had run up a deficit of, nearly $11 trillion. They were talking about here, prior to 1971, they were running up a deficit. So obviously it wasn't anywhere near as $10 trillion because that's what it was in 2008. Now in 2022, we're at $31 trillion. So you can see that all they've done is just completely run up a deficit, and they temporarily took, the dollar off the gold standard. It's been 51 years. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty long temporarily to me. So anything you want to add on to that, Cole?
I just think it's important to I feel that a lot of people don't actually understand this. So like, if you didn't understand, what he was saying, basically like what Ryan was saying, when you initially, gold was backing the dollar, they chopped that, gone. Now, what that means now is, like I said, like the US dollar now becomes the reserve currency of the world, right? Now, how does something that's fiat, really, that has no backing, back up other currencies? So these are the questions that I guess people never ask themselves, because they don't actually understand that, all that fiat currency is, it's just built on belief systems and government force. So when you actually understand that it really has no real substance, it's built on belief systems, you start to understand the importance of putting your money in the right places.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason people believe it's valued at that much is because, the government have told you it's valued at that much. But when you're backed by nothing and there's only limited resources in the world, then things start to bubble quite often. And I guess this is what brings us to, I guess, our next point and where we are at the moment. So at the moment, everyone knows we are suffering massively with high inflation. All right. So if you've felt the effects of inflation, I just want you to chuck a 1 in the comments, you know, whether it's food prices have skyrocketed for you or fuel skyrocketed, rent, whatever it might be, electricity, they've all gone up in, I guess, in price for you. If you've felt the effects of inflation, put a 1 in the comments. I know I certainly have. I know it's very popular at high school. I have kids talking about inflation. I didn't even know really much about inflation not that long ago. And if kids are talking about it, then it must be something, I guess, affecting everyone if kids know about it. So this is just an article from November 23rd, 2022. So yesterday, about food price hikes spark call for action. So this is talking about food price is hiking. So what I wanted to just highlight in this is just where is it? It's down here.
And just while Ryan's looking for that, I think it's important to have a think about like how inflation has affected you. Like right now, people, you know, like it's not like really bad now, but the problem is that people aren't actually getting paid more. You know, they're not having an income increase, but everything else is rising in price. So our expenses are rising, and not only that, there's interest rate hikes. So these problems continue to make it more difficult to do the things that we need to do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, exactly. So we've seen a 27%, I guess, increase in the cost of operations over the past 9 months with food supply chain experiences. They're saying that that it's going to continue going up even more. So, you know, food is something that we need every single day, that we rely on, that, you know, if we don't eat, we're going to die. So we need to be buying food. But like Cole was saying before, our dollar isn't going up, or our wages aren't going up to match the prices of food. So if we're leaving our money in a dying fiat currency, that because of inflation and stuff like that, then we're automatically losing. We're automatically, you know, having less money or less purchasing power because of things like this. Another article that I'm seeing, Coles supermarket shoppers outraged after popular milk buy spikes to $9.80.
Wowzers.
Yeah. So a 3-litre carton of A2 milk now priced at $9.80. So like you're paying $9.80 for milk. Like it's crazy what's happening.
And don't forget as well, like it's important to share this as well, is that, you know, when we were kids, or when I was a kid, should I say, I'll speak for myself, not everybody else. When I was a kid, I remember, you know, I used to go to the shop and have the ability to, you know, our dollars had purchasing power then. So we could, you know, pick up quite a bit of stuff for our dollars. You know, now you've got not only inflation, but shrinkflation. So when you go to the shops, you know, everything is getting smaller. You know, when back in the day, everything used to be supersized. So I'm like, we can't, you know, it's a real struggle point here, you know, we can't win.
Yeah, exactly. That increased by 10% a couple of weeks ago. So 10% in like a couple of weeks. You know,
these stats probably lie too, now. Ryan.
Huh?
You know, these stats probably lie as well, because it is mainstream media.
Yeah, they'll try and find the cheapest ones. But you can see, like, you know, that's why I've got lots of ones in the comments, because everyone is affected by inflation now. This is what's happening right now. And, you know, if we're putting it, like Cole was saying, we're not putting our money in the right places, then we're automatically losing. If we look through and go to now, we've also, not only are we dealing with inflation right now here in Australia and in New Zealand, but, you know, they've upped the interest rates. So, you know, now people are starting to pay more on their mortgages, they're starting to pay more rent, and then also because we have a shortage of rentals at the moment, people have started to build or buy to try and get a place to stay. And because they're increasing the interest rates, property prices are about to drop. So people that have come in and at, I guess, a peak of a market or in a bubble, they could lose 175K straight just like that in the next year and be paying more because of the interest rates. So it's just crazy what's going on in the world right now, well, the economy and here in Australia and New Zealand. So this is not very long. When was this one? 7th of October, 2022. So
Can anybody remember when property was looked at as a safe place to keep your money? You know, that was a safe place to put you know, real estate was a solid place to put your money. Now it's so volatile. You just don't know what's going to happen. And because the government and other bigger powers of the world have control over these sort of things, it can be highly manipulated. So, you know, that's why it's important to really look at the things that are going to help you secure your wealth long term.
exactly. So you can see here how far house prices could fall by the end of 2023. You know, Perth, if you bought a house at top market 584, in a year's time we could value it at 493, but you're paying more on the mortgage already because of the interest rates. So I guess it's crazy times if you're not putting your money in the right places at the right times.
These are real key indicators, guys. For a lot of people, that the biggest problem was stats. You know, some people really like looking at stats, and some people just say, "Oh, Cole, you know, stats are boring." Like, but if you don't know the stats, you don't know where you're going. So we really need to pay attention, guys. We've got to pay attention to the stats, you know, and we've got to go looking for the stats, because if we don't know the stats, then we don't know what to do moving forward. It's these key indicators that will help propel us towards a solid future, if you know what I mean.
Definitely. And not only when we do have these rising costs, you know, it affects businesses as well. It affects people's jobs, it affects people's lives. So not only do we have, you know, everyday living like food, rent, electricity, all going up, we're having people, I guess, lose their jobs or companies collapse. All right. So this is, again, November 16th, 2022, Deliveroo, it goes into administration. So leaves riders and customers in the lurk, and they had 15,000 local riders, and it just happened overnight, just like that. So 1 minute they were fine working, next day, I don't bother coming in, we're done. 15,000 people lost a job. 12,000 restaurants now no longer have someone that's going to deliver their food for them. So their income's going to, you know, go down until they find another solution. 120 staff that were working for them has now lost their job. And that's just one industry. I can go on for ages. We've got lots of others. We've got Brisbane Building Company goes into liquidation. These are all just recent articles showing you where the economy is. The company claims it has 200 million turnover.
There's something I want to touch on here as well, Brian. I think it's really important. So the problem with what's going on in society now is people don't react until they're directly affected.
Yeah.
When you're directly affected, then you start to pay attention, because you have to. You don't have any choice. But the people that get ahead in times like now are the people that are paying attention. So, you know, we want to be paying attention now. It is key. It is paramount that we pay attention now and we take action now. Because if we don't, we'll be on the other side of the spectrum, right? We want to be on the right side of the spectrum, like I said earlier, you know, hanging out with the wealthy, rubbing shoulders with the wealthy, you know, and, you know, acquiring wealth and doing the right things in society with our wealth. You know, that's the biggest thing I've come to understand. There's a big difference between being rich and being wealthy, right? The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. This is the saying that we hear going around, thrown around. It's real cliche.
Exactly.
But the wealth, right? The wealthy, like me, myself, my goal is to give back. My goal is to contribute. Okay, and this is the whole thing that needs to happen. You look at someone like Elon Musk, right? Yeah, he's got a lot of money, but you know, do you see him passing that back down? Does that get drip fed back down, or does it stay up there? So the whole reason for that is because, you know, it's one of those scenarios: the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, right?
Yeah,
you know, but we want to be wealthy, and we want to make sure that we're giving back and contributing. That's kind of my goal and my focus.
Yeah. And we have a saying, it's better to be, one day, I guess, 5 years too early than one day too late,
Exactly.
because, look at here, there's a big company going under 14 million, impacting 300 homes, 200 suppliers, contractors. Again, people losing jobs, people not being able to get their home built. This is happening all over the place. It's constantly in Australia, constantly in New Zealand. What's this one? Another building company goes under, owing 11 million. So this is all money that's owed, that's debt that either has to get written off or bailouts, or, something has to happen because someone owes it. This one's in the UK, an energy company going under, but it's going to cost taxpayers $6.5 billion for the government to bail them out, because the government's saying they're going to bail them out. And this is happening all over the place. And if people just putting their head in the sand and going, the economy's fine, or I still got my job, I might be all right, I don't need to do anything, then I guess you're putting your hand and hoping for the best, sort of thing.
What we need to be doing is we need to be proactive. We need to be focusing on building multiple streams of income, right? Multiple cash flow mechanisms, and making sure we're putting our money that we're creating, right, into solid assets that have a track record. That's proven to be stable, proven to be secure, and proven obviously to slowly build wealth, right? Because the old saying, the quicker you get, as easy as you can get wealthy and rich, right? You can lose it overnight. So, I like the get rich or get wealth, sorry, not rich, get wealthy slowly mindset. That's my mindset. We've got to use that mindset.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if, you're keeping your money in the savings account, you're automatically losing, because look at these here. So I've just typed in purchasing power of the dollar, and you can see all these events and how it's gotten weaker and weaker over time due to certain events, certain things happening. As we go down to here, the value of gold. So the price of gold versus the dollar purchasing power. Purchasing power of the dollar constantly going down. Purchasing power of gold, it's constantly climbing up. And that's with heavy manipulation as well. So
it's interesting. It is interesting to look at this stuff. It is interesting to change our approach with this presentation, because a lot of these things are out there, and I don't know if you guys are looking at this stuff, but these are prime indicators, right? I know that we've been talking about a lot of problems here, and we don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but we want to make sure that you guys are aware of these things, that you can see them, that they're in your face, they're uppercutting you in the face, so that you start to make an educated decision based on awareness, based on education, based on what you've seen, and not based on emotion.
Exactly. And if you are aware, this is one of the most exciting times ever. Like, I'm actually so excited. I'm so pumped. Like, I heard about, I was pretty young when the .com boom happened and stuff. And now that I learned about it and stuff, I'm like, man, I wish I was there at that time. But now we're in actually a better time than that, way bigger time, even when the internet first came out, this is way bigger. So there's a lot more excitement and joy if you are aware and if you are in the right place at the right time. And this is, I guess, what we're going to show now. Just a quick little clip here from Robert Kiyosaki talking about the #1 asset in the world that everyone can afford. So if you don't know who Robert Kiyosaki is, highly recommend you look him up, you read his books, follow him on YouTube. He's a very educational man that has constantly, I guess, given back to the people and always educates people on the monetary system, on assets and stuff like that. And he's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was the first book I ever read, and has completely changed my life since reading it. So I'm going to just quickly show you this clip and explain to you what the #1 asset that everyone can afford is that he's talking about.
Money. And today we have both good news and bad news. And the bad news is the world economy is collapsing. But the good news is the #1 investment that everybody in the world can afford is silver. Everybody. And That's the good news. But will most people buy it? No, they'll save money instead. And they'll save money in spite of the fact that they're printing trillions of it. So our guest today is Silver Slayer.
All right, I'm just going to quickly go to another one. And here's Silver Slayer explaining why he loves silver. And this is what I was talking about earlier on, and why I personally believe this is, I guess, the most undervalued asset in the world, and why Robert Kiyosaki is saying everyone can afford it, and why it's such a good asset.
So what do you like about silver? Because I know why I like it. I'll go into that.
There's a million things. I mean, I call it the perfect investment. Even back in like biblical times, they thought silver was magical. Silver can purify water. You put silver in milk, it keeps the milk fresh longer. You know, it responds to other metals like nothing else. You know, it's the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, even light sensitivity. It's scarce, but it's more for me lately the industrial sector, not only the monetary like a lot of people focus on, but the industrial sector.
Right.
We need so much silver heading forwards. The Green New Deal just started. We exceeded 1.112 billion ounces this year alone. How many billions of ounces by the year 2030? But we could barely keep up with that demand already. I mean, solar panels increasing, electric vehicles by the year 2030, every automobile company. Where's that silver going to come from? We don't have enough. And I think for me, my stance is I think that's really what's going to take the price forwards is the lack of silver, but also including that with the monetary side of things. I mean, nothing else makes as much sense.
Boy, you are enthusiastic, Mr. Slayer.
I'm past. I mean, yeah, I try to reach the person that's never even invested a single dollar. You know, that's my goal.
And
I get excited as well.
Fire.
I get excited as well about that, because it literally, like, when you understand what silver's used in, and being an economics teacher, I understand, you know, basic supply and demand. But, you know, if you've got so many people trying to buy it, but you've only got this much, then the price has to go up. Doesn't matter how much they manipulate it, because you can't manipulate it forever, because when you've got more buyers than there is sellers, price has to go up. It's as simple as that. You know, example being, if you're a farmer, you've got 100 apples and you've got 10,000 people trying to buy your apples, you're not going to sell them at whatever price it is. You're going to get rid of that 10,000 till you've got 100 buyers left to buy it. It's as simple, basic as that. And that's
I think too, when he was talking about the industrial use cases.
Yeah, like, exactly. That's what I was just about to say.
Like, everybody always says to me, Cole, I just wish I had a crystal ball. Well, he's telling you this is what's going to happen in the future. You know, we're going to be AI technology. We're going to be solar. You know, we're going to be electric cars. This is where things are going. You know, this is where the world's heading.
We need
water purified. Whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, whether Ryan likes it or not, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
This is where the world's heading. You just want to partner with the key things that's going to power the future. So, you know, you have that crystal ball. It's there.
Exactly. Silver is used in all of those things, and it's the best metal for it. So they're not going to find a different metal that they can use, because it's the best one. And that now
everyone's going to need purified water, right?
Yeah. And now it starts making sense as to why they're manipulating the price. If they're buying it up, they're not going to want to pay, you know, what does it say back here? $600 and something per ounce. Why would you want to pay that when you can pay 21?
That's right.
I'm not paying $600 per ounce when I've got to buy a lot of it to, you know, fuel everything. So I'm excited about it. And that's why I say, if you know, this is an exciting time. If you are aware of what's going on, where the future's heading, this is a very, very exciting time. And you're placed in the right place. So so that brings us on to, I guess, what we have to offer, what there is. So silver, you can buy bullion and stuff, bars. That's all very good. That's a good defensive strategy. Highly encourage it, highly recommend it. But there's a lot more to the, I guess, silver and gold game than just, you know, just buying raw physical stuff. Hey, Cole.
So when we actually look at that, I just want you to flick back to the membership benefits. I just want to talk about that for a second.
Oh, yeah.
So just talking about this, I think this is important to understand as well. When we look at this, okay, like I want you guys to think about the things that you have in your house that is based upon a membership, right? You got your Netflix subscription. There's a lot of things you're subscribing to. You know, people just love subscribing to things. Now, do these things really benefit you in life, or do they just take away more time? You know, we have our kids in front of the TV watching Netflix, right? They spend a lot of time in front of the TV. They spend a lot of time in front of the PlayStation and then the Xbox. But when we show you something like this is a membership. I call this compressed value. That's what it is. Okay, so all of these key things brought together into a membership, okay, and giving the user access. Okay, this is how this works. So there's a couple of things we're going to point out, okay, and then we'll move forward and we'll go forward with what Ryan was talking about with the collectibles. But we just want to point out a few things, a few key things that have helped affect me, you know, that have affected me, that have taken me to where I am, and, you know, that potentially will continue to power my future. So one of them is definitely the autosaver program. Now, I'll be straight up and honest with you guys. I was useless at saving, right? Hopeless, absolutely hopeless. Like I would put money into my savings and it'd just be like this, you know, like a game of tennis. You know, I just kept like taking the money in and out, and it was just like this game of ping pong or tennis. Right? And you're never going to get ahead like that, you know, and that was me. I was that person. So if you're that person, maybe start to think about changing your strategy. So the autosaver program is a way that we can automate our wealth, put our wealth on autopilot, and get assets every month, right? Instead of putting, you know, depreciating dollars into our savings, right? Which we're saving. I don't know why it's called savings. It's stupid. You know, it's because you're not saving anything, right? We're putting depreciating dollars into a savings account, right? But we're saving nothing, right? So here what we're doing is we're just doing a 360 with that and focusing on putting appreciating assets into our savings account, right? Right? We could do this with the Sound Money Wallet. We'll talk about that a bit more in a second, right? We could do this very, very easily through the Sound Money Wallet, right? But the second thing I want to talk about is the residual income, because I know that it's important to have assets, but we've got to have cash flow. Right? I wouldn't be sitting here, right? In June, end of June, right? I worked 30 hours. I had pretty good, like I had it pretty good, guys, but I still had to put in hours on this business while I was doing that. So I was probably working 50, 55 hours a week, right? But my heart wasn't in it anymore. I felt depowered. I couldn't help more people, right? And the residual income is what gives you the time. It gives you the freedom. It gives you that support mechanism where you can go out and contribute more. So just really think about that. Have a think about where you are now, where you want to be. Because if what you're doing now is not taking you to where you want to be, then really start to think about that scenario. Yeah, because it's an evil downward spiral.
Yeah. And I like the term compressed value, because we've got 10 benefits here, but there's like probably 15, 20. You know, a lot of times we talk about ones that ain't even on here on these membership benefits. And I'm going to talk about one of them because it is my favorite, and it is the community. Because I didn't know the community and training, because I didn't know anything about gold and silver when I started. You know, but because of this incredible community, because of this, you know, family, the training, and people willing to help and educate people, I've managed to learn, I guess, an awful lot more than what I used to. There's still a lot more to learn, because that's part of life. Life is a constant journey of learning, growing, and becoming better. And
that's right.
You know,
and having that support mechanism is everything.
Exactly. Have that support mechanism around you.
It's everything. Like when you join a Netflix subscription, right? Do you get a support mechanism with that? No, that's not part of the deal. So like here what we do, right, is we onboard you and help you and hold your hand through the process, because it's scary, guys. It's not one of those things that you can just, like, you know, that you're making investments, you're changing your financial future, you're learning about financial literacy, right? You're doing what the wealthy do. You know, you're changing the game here.
We're building
It's not as simple as like, oh, we're just kind of kick the can down the road. That's not what we're doing anymore. You know,
Yeah.
we're out here playing chess, not checkers. You know, we're changing the game for sure.
Exactly. And like I said, Sound Money Wallet, Cole's going to show that in a minute how powerful that technology is. But that literally allows every single person, no matter what, if you have $5 to buy gold or silver, you can do that with the Sound Money Wallet. As little or as much as you like. It is game-changing technology that, you know, it's so good that actually JM Bullion, the biggest bullion dealer in the world, tried to replicate it, failed within 45 days, and then tried to buy it and obviously said no. But that's how good that technology is. So
I reckon we go there now. Let's go there now.
So what?
Let's have a look at the Sound Money Wallet now.
Yeah, you got it up, share your screen.
Yeah. Just you'll have to stop share because I'm just tell me if you can see this.
Not yet. Yeah. Yeah. Now I can.
All right. Perfect. Okay. So this is the Sound Money Wallet, guys. Okay. Think of this like a Venmo, PayPal for gold and silver. So everything you do in here is backed by real inventory. Okay. So it's not some like, you know, numbers, you know, derivatives.
Here's one
it's
here.
like that's it there, right? So Ryan had that delivered.
1 ounce silver eagle coin.
He had that delivered. So when you look at these numbers, and guys, believe me, I'm not these numbers. Please don't look at them and go, oh, look at all that gold or look at all that silver. Like I'm just a real person, right? These are just numbers, right? They're not very high numbers. They're just, and I'm not showing you this to brag or anything like that. We want to show you this because we want you to see the technology, right? This technology is incredible. What they're doing with this technology. There's banks. This is very sought after. There's banks hassling them, knocking down their door to learn or to find out how they built this technology. So, you know, when we actually look at like the silver here, so there's $5,984 of silver. Okay, that's the US reflection of value. Okay, but you see here, there's 140, I wish there was 400, 144 ounces of silver. So my initial goal when I first started with 7K, right, it was over 2 years ago. My goal was to build myself to a position where I had 100 ounces of silver in my Sound Money Wallet. So I've exceeded that by 44 ounces. Every week, I get my commissions that land in here. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, but they land in here. I always diversify. Okay, I go 33% into gold, 33% into silver, and I keep 33% in cash. And that's why you can see the split here, okay, is pretty even, maybe just to lean a little bit further to the silver side at the moment, but it'll balance out. So we want to show you the power of this. We don't want to show you too much more data because I think that kind of gets a little bit boring.
Go into transfer, like show people how easy it is.
Yeah, for sure. So when we transfer with this, obviously, it's quite straightforward. It's even easier than using a bank. It's so simple. You can transfer member to member. So this is really what you can do. Okay, so you can transfer from your cash balance. Okay, you can transfer to another member. You can transfer to a certain amount to silver or gold, or you can actually, you know, take it out and use it as cash and liquidate. Okay, or you can have it mailed to you. Okay, you can have it mailed to you pretty much like what Ryan just showed you. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example. What I'm going to do is, since Ryan's done so good on this presentation, I'm going to send him a little bit of what do you want, Ryan? A little bit of silver?
Yeah, go on. Yeah,
I'll take a little bit of silver.
The best
we'll send a little bit
asset
of silver to Ryan.
I'll take the best asset in the world.
Okay, we'll send a little bit of silver to Ryan, and then we'll pick someone out of the audience and we'll send a little bit of silver to them. If you're already in 7K, just put a 2 in the comments below so we know who's already got started and onboarded. Okay. Now, if you've got a good sponsor, okay, if you've got somebody that actually cares about you, they will send you an ounce of silver when you first start anyway. So, you know, that's it. That's we'll say something, and they'll teach you how to use the technology. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send What should I send, Ryan? I'll send what, $40 will do, eh?
Yeah, go on then.
$40.
Yes, mate.
Okay, so
Ryan, that.
Ryan, that. Okay, let's have a look. This is how simple it is.
RY. Get rid of the A. RY.
What did I do wrong here?
Yeah. Get rid of the A. You go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Y.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so all we do here, we put a little, like, you know, something like that. There's a message. Okay, and then we just send it straight across. Okay, so we're just gonna hit transfer.
And it's free. You can see there. Free.
Okay, so that's free. That's free. We're gonna go back here, and I'm gonna show you once it decides to load.
Oh yeah, I just got a notification saying sound money member to member transfer.
Okay, so see here, guys.
Instantly sent me silver, just like that.
Here's your timestamp. Okay. Here's your transaction. Okay. Okay, and it's just under. Sorry, Ryan, it's just under an ounce.
That's all right. That's fine.
So this is basically how it works. The technology is, and Ryan could go into his Sound Money wallet and he could have that delivered.
Yeah, I can
straight away
get it delivered to me, so I could get one of these. I could, turn it to gold. I can put it into cash.
He can do what he wants with it. The power is in his hands.
Instantly and for free, sending cash, gold, or silver anywhere in the world. Like I'm in Perth, Coles in New Zealand, and it's just like that. That's how powerful this game-changing technology is. Like,
right, Ryan, go into the chat. I want you to just shout out a name. Any name, doesn't matter if you don't pick someone you don't pick someone you don't know. Pick someone you never
Adrian.
Met. Adrian. Now, they need to obviously put a 2 in the chat.
Yeah, they've got a 2.
Is there a 2 in the chat?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Now, Adrian, we need you to send your username. Put your username into the chat now. Okay, so put your username into the chat. The username that you joined 7K with, so that I can send you some silver. Right. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, I'm going to stop my share, hand back to Ryan, and I'll send it across now.
Yeah, it's just Adrian, his name.
Okay, cool.
Right.
I'll go and do that for Adrian now, and Ryan's going to go back to the slides.
All right. So we've just shown you, I guess, how easy it is to buy gold and silver. And I guess at any rate, whatever, you can convert that at $5, $2, $10, $100, totally up to you. You can get it delivered to you. You can transfer it member to member, no fees, unlike banks, instantly as well. You don't have to wait, 2, 3, 4 days. But there's also more to this membership. Like we said, it's compressed value. And one of the main, I guess, benefits of this membership is the collectible coins. So as you can see, there's a couple on the screen already here, but I'm going to show you some of my ones that I've got. So this is a Viking ship that I've got I actually got that through loyalty points. So that was free. It's valued at $300. Got that for free. Any Star Wars fans on here? This is one of the Star Wars coins. My partner's a massive Star Wars fan. So she absolutely loved that coin. It's her favorite. She wanted that. Titanic. This is a Titanic coin. This is a copper coin. So again, not only are they really cool, really amazing, but I'm going to show you a clip, real quick clip, and it explains, I guess, the power of collectibles. Because a lot of people don't really understand gold and silver. And when they do understand gold and silver, they just understand certain bits, whereas there's a lot more to gold and silver than just, the raw physical stuff as well. There's a defensive strategy and there's also an offensive strategy. So if I just move this out of the way.
The collectible market has proven to be a robust way for wealthy families around the world to not only protect, but also grow their wealth, and more importantly, their legacy. A collectible usually has to be rare or low mintage, has to have unique or artistic designs, a great story, or have historic significance. So if you look at the paper this amazing Spider-Man comic book from 1962 is printed on, it's only worth a couple of dollars. In 2021, this comic book sold for a record $3.6 million. The person or family that bought this book was not buying the paper. They were buying the emotion, the art, rarity, story, and other things they found valuable about this book. In fact, most wealthy families that are playing the collectibles game are doing it not only for their financial protection or gain, but also to preserve their family legacy. If you look at the top 5 places wealthy families turned in order to protect and grow their wealth during the financial crisis of 2008, you will see that 3 of the 5 things are collectible in some way. And the other 2? Sound money. Unfortunately, not many families have an extra million or 2 laying around to buy high-end collectibles, nor would they even know where to start. But 7K is bridging the gap so that the average family can start playing the game with rare, unique, but also affordable collectibles through modern coins. In 2004, a coin called Tiffany Art No. 1 hit the market for about $90. Now, $90 doesn't seem unreasonable for the average family to scrape together in order to add this incredible coin to their wealth portfolio. Today, though, if you wanted to go buy this same coin, it would cost you at least $8,000. But the metal in the coin is only worth roughly $50 today. The additional value in the coin is due to the rarity, story, beauty, or whatever else a potential buyer finds to be valuable. That is the added leverage or offense collectibles can add to a wealth portfolio. You can see here just a few more examples of the same thing play out in other coins. Modern collector coins have a very good track record over the last 20 to 30 years of being a powerful tool inside of the offense of a well-rounded wealth strategy. 7K not only offers some of the best coins from around the world, but also designs and mints its own coins, giving 7K members exclusive or first access. 7K also makes adding cool, unique, and rare collectible coins extremely easy through one of the most powerful member benefits called the Autosaver. The Autosaver program takes all of the thinking out of collecting and leverages the experts at 7K to send you a rare and exclusive collectible coin every single month. It is truly a set it and forget it, zero discipline approach to automate your collectible asset stacking. You will just need to choose one of the options you like best and watch them show up at your door every month. There are other ways you can also take your stacking to the next level though, with your own shopping cart called 7K Selected and also special sales called Coin Drops. 7K provides many ways to win with collectible gold and silver. As you can see here, Eddie Spears has spent very little time to get a massive head start making sure a wealth legacy comes from him. All the same, Chris Lattin Sr. says he collects both bullion and collector coins, and you can see he has built a very nice stack. He even claims it is now one of his most valued possessions because of what it will mean for him and his family in the future.
All right. So, obviously, when we look at what the wealthy do, it's important to understand that, they don't just focus on bullion. Okay, they focus on diversifying. If you look at like collectibles in general, like, rare paintings, for example. Now, the actual painting itself is really what creates the value. The canvas, and this is how I explain it to people, the canvas is really just the blank kind of, it's not really worth much, right? It's probably worth what, $10, right? Until it becomes a Picasso painting, right? So at least here we have the actual value of silver backing it. Now, the difference between bullion and collectibles is very straightforward. One is heavily controlled by the market, okay? It doesn't have that added leverage like he talks about in the video. We're looking for added leverage, okay? We're looking for upside potential. And that's what we have in the collectible space.
Yeah, definitely. And, bullion is heavily controlled by, I guess, the market price and stuff like that, which we know is heavily manipulated by the paper price. So who knows how long that will be manipulated for. But what's exciting here is in 2008, this is how the wealthy, grew or protected their wealth or their portfolio. And it was exclusive real estate. So unless we've got millions of dollars, probably not gonna be able to get into that one. But fine art, rare coins, gold, and usable precious metals. Tick, 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 tick. This membership offers all 4 of those just like that. So 4 out of 5 that the wealthy used to grow and protect their wealth in 2008 financial crisis is offered in this membership. And as we've highlighted before, 2008 financial crisis, judging by the debt stats and stuff, was tiny compared to what it is now. It was very small. So
yeah, we need one of them. We do, we need one of those like those noise things in the background, like, you know, to really amp it up, because I feel
Yeah,
that like,
exactly.
you know, some of
But-
these moments, some of these things that we're talking about, guys, are pivotal. Like I'm talking like, you know, this information is high quality.
Yeah.
You know, and I really hope that you guys have taken something away from this presentation. We're coming to a close. We're just going to finish off with push through a couple more slides. We will respect you guys' time. So I'm going to get Ryan to push through a couple more slides towards the end, and really just focus on, just going through the membership, how you can get started. So these are the 2 memberships that we do have here. Like I said, it's as easy as doing a Netflix subscription. I know that everybody's done a Netflix subscription, right? But here we have 2, right? Not just one, there's 2. So you do have 2 options. We know that always two options is always better than one. So with the standard membership, really, it's like, you know, we look at it like a plane flight, right? You got the economy, you got the premium, right? So, you know, you can pick either or either. Really, they're both pretty solid. They're both going to offer lots of value. But, you know, with the premium, you're always going to get more, obviously, because you're investing more. That's the basics. You put more on, you get more out. So we really want to focus on, and what I really want to articulate here, the importance of the training in both of these. Now, you know, when we talk about the collectible space, I had no idea about the collectible space, and neither did Ryan, right? But the training in here, in the back office, in the back end, is what taught me what I know today. It's what helped me build my confidence in what we're talking about today. So definitely, you know, get in where you fit in, right? It is important, you know, just get started. The hardest thing that people do, the most challenging thing is people just don't kick down the door and get started, right? Once you get started, everything gets easier, right? It all seems a bit overwhelming in the beginning. Don't worry. I spent 8 months just nitpicking this business and looking at all of the things that were wrong instead of looking at all of the things that were right. You know, so save yourself some time and don't do what I did, and just kick off your journey.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're there sitting, oh, I don't know if I can afford, you know, $16 a month, but you do have Netflix, cancel it. Jump on one of the brothers, one of the, you know, your friends' Netflix. That's what it's there for, you know.
Just don't watch TV.
Yeah, or don't watch TV. But if you got to watch your Netflix, cancel yours. Get on one of your friends. That's what you have them for. And you know, you jump on that. You can fit like 4 people on it. It's fine. That's what we do. So it's all right. So yeah, they're the memberships. Do I go this last one?
Yeah. We'll push through this one. But basically, guys, obviously we've showed you all the problems, okay? And we've showed you obviously we've showed you the solutions, we showed you how to get started. Okay. Now it's up to you. It's up to you what you do next. Okay. It's completely out of our control. Okay. All we're here to do is really just to educate you. Okay. We're not financial advisors, we're not accountants, right? We're just people that got started, that took action and had a good experience. Okay, so when we did have a good experience, there's a couple of other things I want to indicate. I indicated this a little bit earlier, okay, when I shared my experience of what this has done for me, you know, from a cash flow standpoint as well. I had no idea that I could actually share this with other people. I spent 8 months doing nothing with this business, right? And all I think about today is I should have spent 8 months building this business, right? Because we need to get this business in more people's hands. You know, we need to have more silver delivered to people's doors. You know, if I can just help another 100, 200, 300, 400 people have silver delivered to their door, then I'm going to be rewarded. And this is how this works, right? It's just like a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, right? You share that restaurant, right? You enjoy your experience. You share that restaurant. Okay, but the restaurant's probably not going to pay you, right? It's not going to reward you. Okay, same with the movie scenario. You go and see a good movie, you watch that movie, but you know, you're not getting any kickback for that. So what we have here is 7K is going to reward you for helping other people acquire gold and silver. The number one, and what was it, Ryan? Number 6?
Number 6. But you can also say the number 1 as well, asset in the world.
That's right.
Because,
by default, let's just say by default.
Because of what its values actually is.
We're not going to bother playing this video because, guys, we've already been over the membership benefits, right? And that's enough. That's enough to keep me here. And there's something that Ryan's going to articulate in here in a second that'll prove to you this. Like, we know the stats don't lie, right? So he's going to prove to you like why this business is so solid, and why it continues to grow based on customers.
Yeah. And I think what's exciting is, you know, you're dealing with the number one asset and the number 6 by market cap, but in terms of value, probably the 2 number 1 assets in the world, if you can have double number ones. And they're cool, like they're cool as well. You've got cool coins, you've got easy to use sound money wallet that's free of charge. And, you know, it's exciting stuff, but you can also earn money to help with those rising costs of inflation and the cost of living. So whether it's, you know, $200 a week, $100 a month, $500 a month, $1,000 a week, $1,000 a month, whatever it might be, that's totally up to you. And that's the exciting thing about it. And it might ease that pressure by sharing such an incredible product or incredible, I guess, value package. So basically, this company is a legacy company, and we are working with the best in the industry. So not only do we have incredible products, they're verified by the NGC. It's a NGC verified. NGC is the top coin grading company in the world. It's the biggest. So they are verifying our coins. They're putting their brand, their name, their logo on these coins to verify and say what it is exactly what it is. We're working with the CIT Mint. So they've got some of the only technology in the world that can actually design these coins. And then we also have the sovereign nation, we get the coin legend, Michael Miles Standish. And if you don't know who he is, he's considered in the top 10 most influential people in the numismatic space. I call him the Michael Jordan of coins, of numismatics. And he's designing a lot of our coins as well. So he's working alongside us as well. And what is even better is in the 7K income disclosure statement is that majority, 85% of those, of those who buy 7K products each month are simply customers who love our product.
Just customers.
And not participating in the 7K share plan. So 85% of people that get a membership are not worried about the share plan. They just want to be customers. And that's what makes this business such a strong foundation. And so I guess vital and good, because if you have a strong foundation, like anything, you're going to be solid. You're going to be around for a long time because of that foundation. You know, it's simple maths. When you build a house, if you have a weak foundation, that house is going over. So yeah, exactly. I just wanted to highlight those as we come to the end of the presentation.
All right, amazing, guys. Look, we really appreciate your time, the time that you spent with us, the time that you've stayed here, because obviously, you know, an hour can be quite long. We try to keep it as engaging as possible. We try to just have fun with these presentations now, because, you know, at the end of the day, that's what's lacking in society. We just want people to have more fun, you know. And like Roger Ball, one of the founders of this company, says, you know, are you having fun yet? Because if you're not having fun yet, then you need to start doing that. Yeah. So we're going to leave you with that, guys.
There's one question. There's one question. Is from Trish says, is the cost comparable to credit card fees? Do you know? Are you meaning like when transferring?
In terms of the yearly fees for the Sound Money wallet.
Oh no, Sound Money wallet, that comes with the membership.
Yeah, that membership is what, 200 USD?
Yeah, correct.
So I don't know how much a credit card, I don't pay any attention to how much my yearly credit card fees cost.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, they all depends. I've seen 55, some 150. Yeah, it just depends on what sort of
it changes case by case. But what I will say, guys, is tomorrow we're actually running, we won't take too many questions tonight. Tomorrow we're actually running an interactive Q&A. So if you guys do have any extra questions that you do have, that, you know, burning questions that you're like, I just want to get started, but I need my questions answered. So tomorrow we have an interactive Q&A running. Now 1 p.m. I'm so bad with time difference. It's 1 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time, okay, which would be in New South Wales. I'm pretty sure that's 11, okay, and 10 a.m. in Brisbane, okay, and same in Melbourne, and then in WA for you it'd be, Ryan, it would be what, 5 hours difference?
7, yeah. 8
a.m. Okay, so if those times don't work, that's fine. It'll be recorded. Or if you have any extra questions, just reach out to the person who brought you here. or if you're ready to get started, they'll show you the steps on how to get started.
Yeah.
But we're going to love you and leave you guys. We really appreciate your time. And I hope you have an amazing night.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy, and we'll see you, I guess, hopefully tomorrow.
We'll see you on the inside.
Bye guys. Thank you.